Welcome to March, a month full of some exciting looking indie games, so without further ado, let's jump in. First up we have Berserk Boy, an action platformer with Metroidvania elements that sees you play as the aforenamed Berserk Boy. With the ability to turn into different forms and use various elements, the game promises to be fast paced and action packed. Featuring music from Sonic Mania composer T. Lopes and vibrant pixel art, for those old enough, it is sure to invoke memories of the 16-bit classics. Berserk Boy comes to all the platforms March 6th. Next, we have a lovely little title featuring the Swedish Moomin IP. Snufkin Melody of Moominvalley sees you play as Snufkin, who has returned to Moominvalley to find that something has changed and things are not quite right. Using music, it is your goal to restore balance and harmony to the valley by solving various puzzles and protecting Moominvalley from the industrious parkkeeper. The demo showed off a game that was full of charm, and I look forward to diving back into Moominvalley. Snufkin Melody of Moominvalley sings its way onto all the platforms March 7th. Next up is a title that was delayed out of 2023 and finally sees its release into early access this March. Zoria Age of Shattering is a classic RPG that looks to take influences from the CRPGs of old and maybe a little from Larian's recent tour de force. Alongside what you would expect from a CRPG, the game features a heavy emphasis on crafting and base management, with the ability to send party members out on individual missions. It's probably a good idea to try and add something different to the mix and help the game stand out. Zoria Age of Shattering enters Steam Early Access March 7th.
Zoria is a land where danger prowls around every corner, and enemies never rest. The wise commander is always ready. Your duty is to unearth the mysteries of civilizations long forgotten, to unlock the secrets of their ancient technologies. Bear in mind, your choices carve out the future. Strategy, management, careful preparation. These are your tools for survival in the world of Zoria, Age of Shattering.
This next game is my pick of the month. Backpack Battles is an auto-battler that blew up towards the back end of last year with the release of its demo, so much so that the developers turned what was a side project into their main game. As the name suggests, Backpack Battles requires you to stock your backpack up with various items to help survive a battle against other players. With limited space and various combos and recipes to build, you have to plan carefully in order to make it through. I'm a big fan of auto-battlers, and this one in particular really hit the spot, and I can't wait for the early access release. Backpack Battles arrives in Steam Early Access March 8th. Up next is a lovely little game that sees you take control of a balloon ship as you explore a colourful world of floating islands. Passing By, A Tailwind Journey is one of those titles that looks so relaxing and has a special appeal to me. Free to explore the world however you see fit, you just need to make sure you have enough supplies as you solve the various puzzles and travel the world. It's a title less about the destination and more about the journey. Passing By, A Tailwind Journey sails onto PC and Nintendo Switch, March 12th. Our next title shares some similarities to the previous one in this list, but has a much less relaxing and happy tone. Highwater is an isometric, turn-based game with a puzzle combat system set in a flooded, post-apocalyptic world, which reminds me a bit of Kentucky Route Zero in its art style and overall feel. Navigating the world by boat, you travel from island to island, with the ultimate goal of making your way to a fabled rocket that is set to take off for a new life on Mars. Highwater looks to mix genre staples with some interesting hooks to provide a compelling package. Highwater floats onto all the platforms March 14th. It's been a while since I featured a farming game in one of these videos. Lightyear Frontier is one such game, with the twist being instead of schlepping around on foot, you get to power a giant mech. Billed as a peaceful open world farming game, it is nice to see a title that doesn't feel the need to add combat or survival mechanics. This means you, along with 3 other friends if you choose, can just focus on exploring and creating the perfect farm in the way you see fit. It sounds truly delightful to me. Lightyear Frontier comes to Steam, Xbox and Game Pass Early Access March 19th. It's usually quite easy for me to pick my favourite game of the month, but this month this next title pushed backpack battles pretty close. Between Horizons is a detective adventure game from the studio behind Lacuna, which is one of my favourite adventure games from the last few years. As the security officer aboard first generation ship Zephyr en route to a new star, it is your job to investigate the incident that threatens to disrupt the social order and derail the mission. Featuring a branching narrative and the promise of a flexible evidence system, you need to make sure you make the right decisions, as any mistake will have to be lived with and will change the outcome of the story. If Between Horizons can build on what Lacuna was able to do, then it could turn out to be a very special game. Between Horizons comes to PC March 25th.
All of Earth is counting on me.
Our penultimate title made a bit of a splash when it was first announced, due to the scope of the project and the outlandish looking trailer. Outpost Infinity Siege looks to mix first-person shooting, mechs, base building, tower defense, survival elements, and co-op, among other mechanics, to create something that, to be honest, looks a bit mad. The developers certainly have big ambitions for their game, and if nothing else, it will be interesting to see if they can make it all work. Outpost Infinity Siege rolls onto Steam March 26th. Finally for March we have Pepper Grinder, an action-packed platformer whose hook is that you use a drill to navigate your way around the world, allowing you to dive in and out of the earth like a dolphin. This title first caught my eye on social media due to some cool looking GIFs, and has been in development for quite some time. With renowned indie publisher Devolver on board and a colourful art style to match the engaging mechanics, Pepper Grinder looks set for success. Pepper Grinder drills its way onto PC and Nintendo Switch, March 28th. And that's your lot for March. A nice mix of titles this month. Let me know in the comments below which ones you're most looking forward to and if you think I've missed any out. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please consider supporting the channel by giving it a like, maybe subscribing. All that stuff really helps me out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.